So, you're running a small business in the UK? Well, you're going to want to pay attention. We're about to break down the crucial tax changes, the hidden risks, and some new regulations that are absolutely heading your way. Stick with me, because this is your essential briefing for 2026.
All right, here's our roadmap. First, we're going to tackle the money. Some really big tax changes you need to get your head around. Then, we'll switch gears and talk about managing risks, both online and in the real world. We'll wrap up with a quick scan of other new rules before pulling it all together into a simple action plan. Let's dive in.
First up, let's talk about taxes, because a couple of major things are happening that could seriously impact how you report your income and, more importantly, your cash flow. Okay, the first big one is something called Making Tax Digital, or MTD. And this isn't just some tiny tweak. It's a fundamental shift in how the government wants to handle tax. Starting in April, if you're a sole trader or a landlord and your income is over £50,000, you'll have to send quarterly updates to HMRC using specific approved software. This is a big deal. We're talking about 900,000 people right off the bat.
And if you're looking at that 50,000-pound threshold thinking, phew, that's not me, well, hold on a second. This isn't a one-off thing. Just look at the rollout plan. In 2027, the income level drops to 30,000. A year after that, it's down to 20. So even if you're not affected this year, it is coming for you. It's really a question of when, not if. But believe it or not, MTD isn't the only potential landmine here. If this is your first year filing a self-assessment tax return, you could be walking into a really nasty surprise when you go to pay that first bill.
And that surprise has a name: payment on account. It's a weird one that catches so many people out. Basically, if your tax bill is over $1,000, HMRC makes you pay in advance towards your next year's bill. The easiest way to think about it is like a deposit.
Okay, so this is where it really stings. Let's say your tax bill for your first year comes out to £3,200. You'd think that's what you owe, right? Wrong. On January 31st, you have to pay that full £3,200 plus your first payment on account for the next year, which is another 50%. That's another 1,600 quid. All of a sudden, your first tax payment has ballooned to a massive £4,800.
Yeah, you can totally see why that first January becomes a cash flow nightmare for so many new businesses. I mean, paying 150% of your tax bill in one go is a huge hit if you haven't seen it coming.
All right, let's switch gears. We've talked about managing financial risks. Now let's look at the operational ones you face every single day, both on your computer and on your actual work site. Think about it. Most of us don't have a big in-house IT department, right? We rely on what's called a managed service provider, or an MSP. But here's the thing you have to remember. That MSP has the keys to your kingdom. They have access to all your critical systems, all your precious data. So, are you absolutely sure they're taking security as seriously as you do?
Thankfully, you don't have to be a tech genius to sort this out. The UK's National Cybersecurity Centre, the NSCC, has put together a fantastic guide. It's basically your cheat sheet. As you can see, it gives you a whole checklist covering what certifications to look for, specific security questions to ask, what to check in your contracts. It's all there to empower you to have that really important conversation. But while protecting your data is absolutely critical, your risks aren't all hiding in your inbox. A recent case is a really powerful reminder of how devastating physical dangers can be and just how easily they can get overlooked.
£60,000. That's the fine a construction firm was just ordered to pay. And why? Because an employee was seriously injured in a fall that, and this is the worst part, was entirely preventable. And when you look at how it happened, it's just a checklist of what not to do. It wasn't one big mistake. It was a whole chain of basic safety failures. The opening wasn't properly covered, there was no edge protection, there weren't even any warning signs, and the worker hadn't been given proper safety instructions. It's just a stark reminder of why the work at height regulations are so important. Okay, now for a quick scan of the wider regulatory horizon. Let's just touch on a few other changes taking shape in the UK that you should probably have on your radar.
So, this one's interesting. There's been a pretty big U-turn on digital IDs. The original plan was to make a government digital ID mandatory for proving an employee's right to work here. But, as you can see, the new plan makes it optional. After a petition got nearly 3 million signatures, the plan was changed. Digital checks are still happening, but people can use other things like their biometric passport.
And for anyone in the agricultural sector, a quick heads up for you. New rules are now in effect for sheep farmers in England and Scotland. They require classification and price reporting for sheep carcasses, which basically brings the sector in line with beef and pork. The whole idea is to create more transparency and trust, with Wales and Northern Ireland expected to follow soon.
So, wow, we have covered a lot of ground, right? From tax and tech to safety and new regulations. Let's try and boil all of this down into a clear, simple action plan for you and your business.
Okay, here it is. Your action list. 4 simple things. Number 1, go check if MTD applies to you from April and start looking for compliance software now. 2, if you're new to self-assessment, start saving for that potentially huge first tax payment today. Don't wait. 3, use that NCSC guide to have a serious chat with your IT provider about security. And 4, this week, review your work at height safety procedures immediately.
And that brings us to the end. We've laid out the landscape for 2026, and now, really, the ball is in your court. So, looking at that list, what's the very first action you're going to take to prepare your business for the year ahead?